in the past, we didn't used to train together that much. I don't think. I just think with our schedules, right, we got fairly busy. But I think, would you say the past year, 2 years, I think we've started trading together quite a bit. Our schedules we've been able to align it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Would you say you enjoy training with me, or?
No, I do enjoy training with you. Otherwise, why would I not? But yeah, it's been very informative because you know a lot about the gym and particular form I need to do with certain exercise, and you've passed quite a bit of that knowledge on to me. Obviously, some certain things with your training is very kind of, I know you wouldn't say it, but I would feel like it's a bit more male.
Would you? In what sense?
Just certain exercises, because
I think it's more so because it's weight training, right? I'm looking, so obviously when I'm lifting weights,
yeah.
At times I'm also looking to whether it be to put on size. It's the big compact. No, to be fair, you do that as well, though.
No, but yeah, exactly. It's not about the weight training, because I love the weight training. At first, when I started, I was like, oh, this is different cardio. Why aren't I sweating? I kind of need to do, like, I need to feel like my heart's racing all the time. But that took a time to readjust. And I love weight training, but I also still love my cardio. But it's more about the type of exercises you would do wouldn't necessarily meet the sort of interests and wants of maybe a girl. Like, for example, girls want, this is me stereotyping, but girls kind of want that hourglass, that big bum, and they're not really interested in like having a big back or like chest. That is a big stereotype, because that's what kind of was going through my mind back then.
I think that's where a lot of women go wrong. They're like, okay, yeah, all women want that like hourglass figure, the big bum, but a lot of women say, oh, you shouldn't train too much of your back or too much of your chest. Like, focus on this for your legs and that. But as we've found, that's where a lot of imbalances come in your training, right, and in your physique, and then with those imbalances come a lot of injuries, which I think we've both learned from, and we've had, right, and we've realised we need to make sure that we're training our body parts in proportion.
I don't think I had that awakening until I actually got injured. You know, when I hurt my back. And, I had a herniated disc, and it was really, really bad. Like, the pain, I couldn't sit, had major sciatica through my hips, running down my legs into my feet. It was really bad for a while. And then, why is there so much pressure on your back? It's because your core's not taking that that pressure, and your glutes aren't strong enough. So I kind of reshifted my thinking about how you should exercise.
I think you probably do more core work than me now, don't you?
Yeah, because it is really important. Doing your chest, doing your back, your shoulders, it is just as important as training your legs and your glutes, because those tiny imbalances as we get older, it's just more prone to injury.
I think that's what it is. As we've got older now, it's becoming more prominent, isn't it?
Yeah,
the injuries, you don't just bounce back from it within a week or two like you usually do. We're walking around with a dodgy hip, a dodgy shoulder, a dodgy back. And it takes a while, unless you get to the root cause of it. I think now when you're older, it takes longer to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that I don't want that hourglass and that, the big glute stuff, because, I still like that. But, I really appreciate a strong woman's body. Like, I appreciate, when I see, not to be, pervy or anything, but when I see other women in the gym and, they're pushing that weight and stuff, I'm like, wow, that is strong. I kind of aspire to lift that much or push that much. But saying that, I'm not a weight chaser. You know me. I kind of, with my injury, I kind of have to focus more on form now, and I'll slowly build up that, that strength and that progressive overload, as they say, over time.
No, I agree with that. I think it applies for both men and women. When you see someone, whether it be they're training well, whether it be lifting a respectable amount of weight, obviously it's not always about how much you can lift, but the way that they train or the physique that they have. That physique has to be earned through hard work and discipline, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you do I think you earn that respect straight away sometimes through your physique, because it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time, it takes hard work. Like we do put a lot of hours into the gym, but I think we enjoy it, right? People say to us like, "Oh, are you doing a bit much? Is it this? Is it that?" If anything, and I say this to you all the time, I want us and I want you to be selfish when it comes to the gym.
Yeah.
Prioritize going to the gym, exercising, going for a run over your job, over other things. Like you have to, I think, because if you haven't got your physical and mental health, everything else starts to suffer, and it's a domino effect.
No, it is hard. You know, what you're saying is right. I agree with that. Your health, physically and mentally, really, it does come first, like compared to your job. But I've been in that situation where I'm working such you know, it's a tolling job and I have a lot of pressure, and then health and fitness kind of was at the back of my mind. So what would you say to people that are really, you know, going through it with their jobs? And you know, with me, like you gave me great advice back then, and you helped me through it. So what would you say?
And it depends. I don't think you would listen until you're going through it, but like what I would say to you is, dependent on the job that you're doing or what you're in, and most people, like say if they're in a corporate job or a 9 to 5 job, they'll drop you in a second. If something was to happen to you, they'll replace you in within a week, within a month. But your mental health, that's what needs to take priority. Like they're not going to do that for you. The only person that's going to help you is you. You'll always get another job, you'll always get work, you'll find a way of making money. But if you keep neglecting your mental health, I think especially as you get older, I think what we've found is like our minds are programmed in a certain way with how we've been brought up, the people we've been surrounded with. I think when you get into your 20s and 30s, I think that's your peak age, and maybe in some ways your last chance to fully, and probably your best chance to start reprogramming your mind and becoming your own person as to how you want to be. I feel like this podcast has gone really serious all of a sudden.
Serious.
Let's keep it like
but that's true. That is real advice for people that are going through it. But isn't it just sad that like life beats you down to think that you should only like think about your job, and sometimes those things take a second.
There's like look
life,
at the world,
like,
look at the world now, and the importance of being financially successful and having money. Sometimes not even just to be financially well off, just to pay fucking bills.
Yeah.
Like look how
we've had to make that choice to shop at Lidl most of the time.
Yeah, mate.
Because it's so expensive going into Tesco these days.
Just getting a bag of protein will probably, like foods and drinks of protein will probably cost you about 100 quid. Just
like
one
chicken
shopping bag.
and stuff, yeah.
But let's go back to the gym. Let's go back to us training together. Yes. What do you enjoy about training with me, and what don't you enjoy about training with me?
Okay. I know at the top of my head what I don't enjoy about
Go on, tell me. I probably already know what it is.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
We like, come on, let's be real. Every couple that kind of is in a space and they're sort of working together to do things, they'll end up arguing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we argue quite a lot. It's not serious arguments like about serious things in life. It's just about little things like petty things around the gym.
It's
like,
so funny,
is your form correct? Did you record me correctly on that? God.
The thing is, we can laugh about it now, and you're right. There's such petty little things
in the moment.
But in the moment, like, do you know what, I'd love it if there was like somebody listening to one of our arguments. Like whether obviously I've got a brand on Instagram, right, that I try and promote. I'm trying to promote my podcast, which is like health and fitness. So obviously we're trying to get shots in the gym, and obviously you've recently started being more of an active user on Instagram as well. So obviously we're there trying to get shots of each other, and the amount of times we've criticised each other. Why aren't you putting more effort into the angles? Why aren't you putting more effort into the shots you're taking of me? And to be fair, sometimes, not being funny, I'll let you get a good one of me, and I'll rush yours.
I know you do that sometimes.
Yeah, but I think guys though, I think it's something built into. We're just not good at taking photos and videos. Come on, there's memes about it as well.
Just because there's memes about it doesn't mean it's
in
true.
our DNA. We're just not good at taking videos and taking pictures of our other halves, I think.
I think you can if you tried.
You reckon?
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
Is that the bad thing then, would you say, about training with me? About getting the
Yeah, well,
content and
you
stuff?
know that's a bad habit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were gonna say that I rush you a lot in the gym.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Oh, actually, yeah, I think that's the.
Yeah, but I don't. When you're doing big compound movements, obviously you need. I even said to you the other day when we did deadlifts, I was like, take your time, like 'cause deadlifts are pretty taxing. But you even went to the gym the other day. I think you went about 6 o'clock without
Yeah,
me.
that's true.
Came back about 8:30.
That's
I'm glad I'll
true.
rush you if that's how long you're gonna take.
Do you know what? We're so the other extremes. You just want to get it done like an hour. I'm just like, I need to rest. I need to, take time in between because
No,
I
I
just get
agree, you
I
need
get
it.
tired. I get tired when I'm trying to push myself. I get tired a lot, especially after work. I feel quite tired, but I'm too. I wouldn't say lazy, but I can't get up at the times you do, like crazy o'clock, like 5 o'clock. Just to exercise. I feel like I can do it after work.
So you think you're more of an evening trainer than a
Yeah,
morning trainer?
I'm more of an evening trainer, I'd say.
Am I more? To be fair, I think I definitely used to be an evening trainer, but I think now I can do either. The key for me is as long as I've had a coffee or an espresso shot.
So coffee is the only thing that as
Yeah,
long as you had that.
yeah, I think so. 'Cause coffee really works. Obviously, I used to take pre-workout years ago,
It's the
but
caffeine.
yeah,
You need a strong
obviously I
dose of
wouldn't take
caffeine.
pre-workout now. But yeah, for me, as long as I've had a coffee, I think I'm good to go. Sometimes I like training. Like Saturdays, Sundays we train. We don't get that early, but
Yeah, I don't mean like that's like 9 o'clock. We
mm,
sometimes on the weekends we'll go around 9 o'clock.
mm,
I mean sort of like 5, 6 a.m. Some people do that, and
mm.
that is, I applaud those people, but I physically I can't get up that early to go, and
Yeah,
because
no, it is
I feel
difficult.
weak
It's because
that
you're still
early.
half asleep as well.
Yeah,
But
but
nah,
they're in that routine where they've
it
been
does.
getting up
You
that.
do get used to
Yeah.
that. Like when I've gone through periods of doing that, yeah, it just takes time to get used to it. But let's give people a little bit of an insight into our training then, because I think that's what they want to know. Like if we're training together, how are we training together? How many times a week? How do we schedule our training sessions together? So our fitness, like our routines, can be quite different at times, right? I think you do try and do you do your leg days, your chest days, your back days,
Yeah.
days on shoulders with me sometimes.
Yeah.
But how do you find it fitting? Because I think you probably more so blend into my schedule, right? And then you do your additional things on the side, like obviously you play netball, and you do a bit of your own stuff as well. So
Pilates and stuff.
yeah, Pilates as well.
Which you've recently had a bit of an exposure to that.
Yeah, I can see how good Pilates is for you.
Mm.
But do you know what? There's so many, like obviously football, boxing, weight training. Then you add Pilates. I feel like you have to be very selective. There's no way I can keep all of those sustainable over time.
You can't do everything.
That's the same for you as well. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you got to pick and choose what you do, because you play netball, like you do the boxing fitness as well, do the weight training. I feel like there's no way you can keep all of those sustainable together.
Yeah. Well, with the Pilates, I do that because it's near my work, and it's really convenient for me because, like, I'll go during lunchtime. Because I don't like sitting around all day, because then my back starts to play up. I need to sort of do some movement.
How many days a week would you say we train then?
We train.
Yeah, I say about 5. But then what do you class as training? I think when we say we train 5 days a week, even if it's 6, like 2 of those days maybe like you go netball or me going football, or it's not like in the gym specifically. 5 or 6 days a week, right?
Saturday, Sunday we do. Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And then
Not every Saturday, Sunday as well. Like we don't, like say if we have an event on, we don't sacrifice events for,
but
for
the
the
routine
gym.
is more Saturday, Sunday.
But let's get into the juicier questions. What would you say your diet is like, and whose diet is better, yours or mine?
Well, we do live together, so our diet is very similar. We eat the same.
I think only the evening meals we eat, because
Yeah,
we're so busy
actually,
during
yeah.
the day.
Just-
so in the,
just
so
evening
that's
meals,
what I mean. Whose diet do you reckon is better when it comes to obviously our actual meals and then our cheap meals?
Do you know what you when you have the drive,
Yeah.
you eat impeccable. During that sort of Monday to Friday, your eating is very, very clean, high protein, the high fats and stuff, the sort of things that Abu kind of preaches. It's very like that. But then something happens to you when Friday evening.
I think it does, you know.
Hits.
It's just weekend vibes, man. Like, I'm eating whatever.
It's like, YOLO.
Do you know what it is? But then, even though I say, like, when it hits Friday at 5, I feel like even though I have my cheat meals, I still make sure that I'm getting sufficient amount of protein in, whether it be my morning meal on a Saturday and a Sunday. And then if I am going to eat shit, whether it be like a pack of biscuits or a pack of chocolate or whatever, you know, I know that there's a consequence for it. And I'll hammer training in the week, right? And some people criticize that, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. It's bad to do that," and seeing it as Punisher days. But I was like,
do you give yourself Punisher days? Do you think?
In a way, I do, but I don't see it as, obviously, of course, you've got to love whatever shape you're in your body. But if you're shoving shit into your body, you've got to understand there's a consequence of that. If you're shoving tons of calories into your body, more calories than you should be, and the wrong type of calories, you've got to know there's a consequence for it as well. And I think that's how I've managed to stay in shape all these years, is knowing that. But is this you trying to say my diet's worse than yours?
No.
I think it is worse than yours. Oh, I don't know, is it? Would you say?
My diet. My diet.
Your diet is good, to be fair.
My diet is good.
You haven't got a sweet tooth like me.
I just don't have a sweet tooth like you. And I try to keep about 20, like a minimum of 20 grams of protein. I try to hit that in whatever I eat. I try to, snacks excluding.
Yeah.
But we have been trying to eat more high protein snacks lately.
If you're ever pigging out, do you ever try to ruin my diet at the same time to take me down with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of couples that do that.
Yeah, I know you do.
No,
that.
I know. I do. I do it sometimes. I feel like you do it too.
Remember the other night, I was literally in bed asleep, and he's like, "Oh, I bought you a cheese toastie." So I'm literally asleep, and the worst thing is, I woke up and I ate it as well, which is, I don't know why I did that. It's like I was sleep eating.
I was still hungry. That's why.
And you thought, I'm gonna make him eat as well.
Do you know what? To be honest, if I'm full honesty here, I actually made that one for myself as well, and I just
So
I looked
you were
at
gonna
it.
have 2?
I was gonna have 2. Yeah. Be honest. I looked at it. I was gonna have 2, and then I was just like, actually, I've just had quite a few things to eat. Like I had crisp packets and whatnot.
I'll wake him up and give it to him.
Yeah, I didn't want it to go to waste. And thought,
didn't we have something else at the second? Bear in mind, like, I think this was about 11 o'clock at night. What else did I have? I had something else as well. I was eating a pack of hobnobs.
I don't think that's
I swear
very
I was
healthy.
something
This is
else.
what I mean about you as well. But anyway, back to the question. I think I have a better diet. Yeah, I don't ruin it with all the sweet stuff you do. You have a lot. You eat a lot of ketchup.
Yeah, I love my ketchup.
You love your ketchup, and there's a lot of sugar in that. So.
I can get through some bottles of ketchup, right?
So if I'm being honest, I think I technically do have the more healthier diet in that aspect. Because I think sugar is the all evil.
It is, yeah, and I agree.
And it's great to have your protein, it's great to have your fats, but if you're consuming that much sugar...
But like you said, Monday to Friday, I can be impeccable if I want to. Like today, all I've had is a couple of coffees, eggs and salmon. That's all I've had today. So like in the week, I can be solid. But then when it comes to me pigging out, I'll surpass you by miles, right? You know, you'd have what?
That's your downfall. This is what I mean.
Yeah, you'd have one chocolate. I'd have about
and this
10.
is what I said. I said you're immaculate that Monday to Friday.
Yeah. Okay, I've got to agree with you then. All right, maybe your diet is is better. So yeah, 1 point to you. Well done.
But it's not a competition because
This brings me on to my next question.
How's it competition? We need to both eat healthy together.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. But low-key, we're both competitive with each other.
We are very.
It's good. Competition's good. I think as long as neither of us take it too far.
But in this aspect about, Gian to Sim, it's about you've actually agreed with me, and you don't normally agree with me.
That is
So
true.
it's one.
Who would you say is more competitive then? Me and you. You are very competitive.
I think we're both very competitive. Everything you would be competitive about, so would I.
I'm competitive though, to the point I'm petty. Like even me and you, like when we're doing like a plank off.
Actually.
Just like when we're doing a plank off in the gym, for example. I think we were both getting to we're saying who can do it the longest, right? And I just remember it was because this was at the end of my session as well, so I was already a bit fatigued, as I'm sure you were. But I think it was getting to about the 2 minute mark, and I was starting to hurt, and you weren't moving or you weren't flinching. And in my head, I was thinking, "Fuck, like she might beat me here." And in my head, I said to myself, "I was like, all right, I'll go to 3 minutes on the plank. If she hasn't dropped by that point, I'm gonna knock her over, and then I'm gonna fall."
Nice.
But just that level of pettiness, so you can have one over on me. So that's how petty I am in terms of competitiveness. But I know you can be competitive as well. So who would you say is more competitive?
I say we're both competitive, but just let's clear this up. You are physically stronger than me. You are faster than me. That is a biological thing. Like,
would you say so though? Because
no,
men and women.
I don't mean men and women in general. You and I, our weight, our height, us, just you and me. You are physically stronger and physically faster than me. You will have a bit. You will not a bit. You will have an advantage over me with certain things, especially exercise. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go down without a fight. I am going to go down kicking and screaming. And sometimes I do beat you. And those sometimes I cherish. I cherish so deeply.
You have beat me in a couple of things. Like, what things do you think you... Yeah, like one thing you're way better at me. Well, to be fair, I can't do it at all. Is pistol squats, right?
Yeah.
I can, and flexibility wise, you're way better than me. Pilates, you're way better than me. So yeah, no, you definitely have a couple up on me on that front.
I have strengths as well.
Yeah. But I guess men obviously do have
strength, but
the advantage when it comes to strength.
Some men do. I saw this video on Instagram of the world's strongest woman. She's from Asia, because they're doing the Olympics right now, and
I think is she really muscular?
She's really big, and she lifted. I can't remember how much. 180 kg. That's how much she lifted.
What, deadlift or?
When the power lifters,
clean and press.
Is that what they do? And then they do it like that.
Clean and jerk. I think. Clean and press. Yeah. Clean and press.
My dad used to do it. When he was weightlifting. She was absolutely a powerhouse. She's a powerhouse. So it's not there are, in general, I know what you mean. Men are stronger and faster, but there are some of us that can. So we'll never stop.
I think one thing that proves that as well is obviously the Olympics are going on right now.
Yeah.
Obviously the big talking point was that trans boxer who was fighting in the female category, right? And obviously nothing against trans boxers, but obviously there was a lot of let's say what's the word, there was a lot of debate over whether it was right or wrong. Should there be another category? But that's I think that's one for another podcast. I think how well would you say you balance health and fitness with your kind of 9 to 5, like your job on the side? Or I say job on the side because it's your job.
So I think I am super active, but I think that's because I do a job that is flexible as long as I don't take the pee. And I don't have kids at the moment. We don't have kids yet. So a lot of people our age, they have kids to sort of keep in mind. So it is difficult. So we are fortunate that we do have this free time. So I'm just like, make the most of it. Put myself first in this time that I have. Because one time we'll have kids and then we won't have as much time. But I'm gonna try. I do admire all women that I see a lot of girls that are on my Instagram, and they have kids and they go for runs and they put their Strava up on their stories, and I'm like, you go girl, you know, you're doing bits. It's hard. It's hard to do that kind of stuff when you've got kids. So at the moment, yeah, I feel like I'm balancing it well. But again, I've got nothing tying me down in that respect.
Yeah, I don't even think I can give any advice when it comes to.
We can't yet because
it'd be patronising.
Yeah, we don't have kids. We have our like nieces, nephews, cousins and whatnot, younger children, and we have that luxury of enjoying them for a couple of minutes when they want to play, but then when they're not in the like particularly playful type of mood, give them back to mum and dad.
Yeah, no, that's true. Obviously we spoke about podcasting, social media. You've become more active on social media lately.
Yeah.
Obviously you want to start posting more your fitness and your gym content. It's a big part of both of our lives, right?
I mean, yeah, so, like it's what we do second after work.
So how would you say you found it, that transition into being more active on social media? Because you weren't someone that was overly comfortable in I don't think anybody is at the start, but you have to, in some ways you do grow and develop, but it's a case of you're putting yourself out there, right? It's challenging for anyone.
Yeah, that posting element, making a whole separate like page was actually very scary because Instagram is such a judgmental place. It can be, and I just thought, you know what, I want to make a page for myself because it's what I like. It's an interest of mine, and I want to share it. So once I got into that mindset, and that was with a lot of your sort of help and reassurance, because you've had your page for how long have you had your page now? A couple of years.
Page?
Yeah.
What, the
fitness page? Yeah.
Well, I've had it for quite a few years, for 7-8 years, but I wasn't using it with any specific purpose before, right? Now I'm actually using it to brand myself, brand my podcast a little bit. So yeah, it's been a while. And do you know what? I think I have grown and developed with the social media page, because at first I went through everything of, am I getting enough views on this? Am I getting enough traction? Are people not liking it? Do people think this? Do people think that? Then eventually it teaches you to be a bit more secure in your own skin, and as long as you're doing things for the right reason,
exactly.
As long as, of course, you're going to have the odd vanity post every now and again, but as long as you do have the right reasons behind why you're posting, I think, you start paying less attention to what other people think and more so about what you're trying to do as well. And the big thing I say to a lot of people is with social media, don't just consume, because like subconsciously it's a very easy place to start comparing yourself, because I think at times people do forget that it's just highlights. Like even with us, like we post all of our good stuff, but that's what people need to understand, they're highlight reels, right? Like we're not going to go there start posting us in a full-blown argument in the gym, are we? Or like when we're not at our best, we're going to post our good moments and when we want to teach people stuff. So it's about acknowledging that, I think, right?
Exactly. Agree with everything you just said there. That was the best and longest answer to how long have you had your fitness page for?
Oh, I forgot what the question was.
But no,
shows how much I ramble on.
No. But it is true. Everything you said is true. But I think, going back to me, I just, and it's exactly what you're saying, have the right reasons for it. It's, if you're doing it for the views and you're doing it because of that sort of mindset, you're just going to be under the mercy of those views, those likes. It's taking away from the stuff that you do in your day to day that brings you health and happiness, physically and mentally, but you're using it in a bad way that is actually like hurting any of that benefit you're receiving from doing this stuff. But and completely agree with you there.
Fair enough. Did you have a couple of questions on the podcast as well? I know you prepped a few things that you wanted to.
Prepped, yes. So, was it a month ago? It was July. No, it was in June. Yeah. So yeah, a month ago.
And we haven't rehearsed any of these questions, by the way, have we? Like, I don't even know what you're going to ask because we wanted this to be authentic as possible.
He was basically like, whenever I wanted to speak to him about it, he's like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Because we're going to.
Because I think the worst thing we could have done is prepped answers and it comes across rehearsed. I want this to be authentic. I want it to be relatable, right? So I think I have an idea of what you might ask.
Yeah. So a month ago, you did this crazy challenge, the 48 miles in 48 hours challenge, the David Goggins challenge.
Yeah.
And actually, you had been mentioning this challenge to me quite, like, maybe a year. You've been talking about it for a year.
I can't even remember where I saw it. All I remember is
probably on the David Goggins like Instagram. No,
I don't even think it was on his Instagram page. No, I think I just came across it online somewhere else. I think I told you, didn't I? Like the first time I mentioned it to you, I was like, "Oh, Sim, what do you think of this?" Yeah. And then I think you dismissed it like very quickly, as in, "Oh, that's." I don't really thought I wouldn't be able to do it, or that it was just. I don't know what was your first reaction the first time, because I don't think you actually thought I was going to go ahead and do it, did you? When I first told you.
To be honest, when you told me, I just kind of didn't think much about it because I was just like, it kind of went through one ear out the other because I was just like, that just seems like a really difficult thing to do, a bit of an unrealistic thing, like, and I just thought, who in their right mind would do that? Like I did, and then so you mentioned it a few times. I was just like, you're not being serious. It's
I think that's what it was.
It's just too much of a very strenuous thing to do for no reason whatsoever. And then
I just couldn't get it out of my head.
No, you couldn't. And then like literally one day you popped up and you were like, by the way, I'm doing it, and I've also partnered with a charity to make sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons. And I get
shout out Sky Blue Support, who I partnered with.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to do it because I'm doing it for the right reasons, but also to push yourself as well.
Yeah,
that's so that mentally and physically. So I was like, okay, and even at that point, I don't know. I was like, yeah, you're gonna do it, but then I was like, is he really gonna do it? Because then you never really did any training.
I did train. I did. I'll be honest. I knew the majority of that run was not going to, because obviously I wasn't trying to do it in any kind of ridiculous pace. I just wanted to complete it. Obviously, I didn't want to be slow either. And obviously, I play a lot of football and stuff, so I can run. But I knew, obviously, when it comes to road running, a lot of it is about the conditioning of your legs. So I thought, as long as I've hit enough runs first, from a conditioning standpoint, I think there are a couple of times when I did the 4 miles every 4 hours as a bit of prep. I think I took it up to about 20 miles. Because what I didn't want to do was do the actual whole challenge first as a practice. Otherwise, I would have peaked too early. So I think there's even one point I got to like 16 miles on a Friday. And then we went to the chippy. And I ran back from the chippy, didn't I? Back home. And I think you picked me up
Great
on the
power
way.
Meal, chippy.
Yeah, and I had a chippy when I got home. But if I'm honest, I probably, because I was doing sprinting in between as well, right, at Warwick Uni.
Yeah, you were.
I'll come on to that. So I'll be honest, I could have taken it a hell of a lot more seriously. Maybe I was overconfident. And then obviously when I was doing my sprinting, which I don't know why I decided to do a week before on a cold morning, pulled my hamstring. And that was 8 days before. Everybody said, I've got no chance of doing it. But for some reason, I just had a sneaky feeling. Let me see how it is in 2 or 3 days. Because I can tell by the rate each day if it's recovering, how much it's recovering, and the speed of which it's recovering, whether it'll be okay. And not being funny, after 2 days, even the point then I still couldn't run, I knew it was recovering, and I knew it was going to recover quick enough for me to do it. Okay. Because I did that practice run, right? And then, and then I did it.
Then you did it.
But it was... it got brutal. Maybe that's where I could have been a bit better prepared, because obviously the last 3 miles of the 48 I had to walk, right? Because I think my knee just gave away. I couldn't even put any weight on it. You had to follow me in the car.
Yeah, I was scared you were gonna collapse and just not get home.
The funny thing was,
I think Uber's not around.
We were trying to decide how to do that last 3 miles, right? Or like, do I put my arm around you and you carry me half the way?
We were arguing about that.
Yeah, and then I just really didn't want to walk it either, right? I wanted to run it. I didn't want to walk any of the 48 miles. But yeah, I had no choice. This wasn't even about grit and determination when your knees just giving way every time.
Yeah.
You can't put any weight on it, so that was what it was. But yeah, no, I'm glad I did it. Like it, it was a strange one. Yeah, I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot about. And the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to run the whole 48 miles without any headphones, any music. I did it in silence, just with my own thoughts.
That's torture.
Do you know what? People say that oh, that's why would you do that? But if you think about it, when you're going through your most difficult, like, oh, you know, I use everything as a metaphor when it comes to gym and health and fitness. When it comes to life, you haven't got external things to motivate you, right? In the most difficult period. So I thought, let me use this run to do that. All I've got are their own thoughts in my mind and my own thoughts to motivate me. If that's if that's how you can motivate yourself, just with your own thoughts, for me, that's a pretty strong thing to do, and which I had to do. But the funniest and craziest thoughts would be going through my head, like while I was running. Like, obviously, you got so much time to think to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, shall I just do this lap in the car? And no one will know. Shall I? Honestly, the weirdest thoughts just go into your mind. But that's what you got. You're your own company on that run, right? And that was 48 hours worth of me just with my own mind. But no, it was good. But yeah, I think you did about eight miles with me. Was it 12 miles? Bear in mind, you hadn't really practiced for any kind of road runs or anything, had you? And you still managed it pretty good. I think even on that, because you did the 40 mile, when it got to the 40-mile mark with me, and I was struggling so much by that point, I think you had to slow down for me.
Yeah, I left the car and...
No, even before that.
Oh, right, when we were running.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I had to slow down for you. Like, it was, hard for me, that the fact that you had to slow down. God, no, I welcomed that slowdown, don't worry.
It didn't feel slow, I'll say that.
Yeah, that was really hard to see you like that. But yeah, it's just, I just can't believe you've done it. Would you do it again? Would you ever encourage anyone to do it or recommend it?
As a one-off, yeah.
You would?
As a one-off, obviously, like, train for it more than I did, obviously. As a one-off, yeah, because it's something that pushes you to a limit in terms of physically, mentally. Obviously, the stop-starting, which is tough on the body, is tough on the joints, the lack of sleep. I think I got 2 hours sleep in like 48 hours. It pushes you to physical and mental breaking points. It gets you to push your limits. It takes you to that bit of a breaking point. And a lot of what I hear is because there are a lot of people doing these extreme challenges nowadays, and other people are like, oh, why do people have to take it so far doing these challenges? Can't they just go on a run, or can't they just do the simple version of it? But what I think those people don't understand is people who are doing these extreme challenges, well, I know the majority, they're not doing it for vanity and attention. They're doing it to challenge themselves. They want to push their mind. They want to push their body. They want to see what they're capable of. And I think that's something that some people can't understand.
Yeah, I mean, like the people that do push themselves, you call them athletes. Like, they're doing it in the Olympics and stuff. Just because you're not an Olympic athlete, or you're not a Premier League footballer, or, an actual professional sportsman or something like that, doesn't mean that you don't have to challenge yourself in everyday life.
Yeah, it tested me in many ways. Like, even before the run, like when I made it known what I was doing, there was some people that would comment it and say, oh, that's doable. Like, that's not that hard. Who do you think you are doing it? Do you think you're like the world's hardest man? Like, with regards to that guy who ran like the length of Africa. And by no means am I saying I'm anywhere near on that level, but it was just the way of me. Because I was going to do that run regardless, whether it was for a charity or not. But obviously I thought, oh, okay, this is a good opportunity to maybe help raise some money for a charity, which I did for Sky Blue support. And obviously I think we raised about over £1,000, which was amazing. So many people donated, and there was so many supportive people. But I think just like in life, like, you'll get supportive people, but you also get negative comments. I think if there's one thing that I've got better at, it's about in one ear out the other when it comes to negative comments. It's especially when you put yourself out there a bit more on social media. I think you've got to you've got to become a lot more thick-skinned with that type of stuff, and that's something that I had to get used to as well, not constantly worrying about what people are going to think. I think you've maybe seen that change in me. I've seen it a bit in you as well. As we get older, we're trying to help each other with that stuff to be more thick-skinned when people say stuff to us.
Resilient. Be
Not
resilient.
to take it personally, because I think when people make those negative comments to you, that always comes out of their own insecurity, right? It's never, and they just project that onto other people. So at times I don't take it personally. If anything, I feel sympathy for people when they do give me or you those negative comments. Obviously everyone goes through it, but it's just a case of finding the best way to deal with it and being at peace, right?
Yeah, it's very true. So moving on from the deep conversation, another question that I want to ask you. In the gym, what are your, like, you know how you asked me before, what is your, you know, most, what's the word, most hated thing that I do? And what is the nice thing about training together?
Most hated, no, the one, okay, so the one thing I don't like about training with you, do you know what, there's one machine which I never do with you anymore.
What?
And just because it's such a fucking headache, is the leg press. Remember we used to do that?
Yeah.
And it's like taking off like 20 plate after 20 plate.
Racking and re-racking.
Not saying like I use a shit to 20 plates, but to be fair, you could probably do more 20 plates now. But that's probably one that it used to be. But again, we don't do that together anymore. I'll just do that on the odd occasion myself. I don't think there's anything specific that I don't like about training with you, if I'm honest. Obviously, we have the odd little bicker. Do you know what? I even remember when we first started training together. I think this was at Capital Gym, and this was years ago. And it's funny because I know you'd have a point sometimes when you'd say it as well. And I can imagine what it would be like being on the receiving end of it. I'd be like, oh, Sim, try and do your squat form a bit like this or a bit like that. And you'd listen to it like silently. Then it'll come to my set, and you'd be like, well, your form isn't like that. Why aren't you doing it like that? And then hence the bickering would start. But I'd say now your squat form is better than mine. I would say
it is.
Well, would you agree? You think your squat form is better than mine?
I would agree. Yes.
I was just being nice. No, I'm joking.
No,
it is better than mine.
You obviously squat heavier than I do, but I try to work on form.
Squat's such a dangerous, especially when you're doing it every week. If your form isn't right, which for a period, I got lazy and I was doing it with bad form. And I think I was just warming up on 60 and something went in my back.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get into the car afterwards. You remember?
No, it is.
So it just shows you like you're better off dropping the weight and getting your form right.
Injured, yeah. I don't think I specifically answered when you asked me this before. I think we got a bit carried away with the conversation. But I mentioned it earlier that the great thing about training with you is that knowledge that you have. You are very knowledgeable, and you've given me the confidence in the gym to know what I'm doing.
Would you say when it comes to weight training, or just like knowledgeable in all aspects?
Knowledgeable in all aspects, yes. You are the teller of all.
Oh, I haven't said my good point about training with you. I think this is when we have a laugh. We have a good laugh, right, in the gym. Like sometimes when it gets to us training together, we've been busy all day at work. We haven't really spoke.
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, so we use it as a chance to catch up in the day, and sometimes we'll have a bit of a laugh when we train and stuff. So yeah, I'd say that's the thing I like about training with you. Yeah.
No, I like that as well. Can I change my answer to that?
No, you can't take my answer.
Yeah.
But is that it from your questions?
Okay, what would give you the biggest ick in the gym, or what do you not like in the gym? It's not just me. I mean, the gym in general.
Yeah, but who's the ick aimed towards you or
not,
the gym?
Not aimed towards me. Just like something
seeing somebody in the gym.
Not
like,
seeing
that would
someone.
give me the ick.
No, not seeing someone. That's just mean. Seeing someone
I was
would
gonna
give
say,
me the ick.
Yeah, but something would have to give me the ick, whether it be the gym or an individual. Like,
Or something you don't like about the gym. An ick is
oh,
something you don't like. It gives you bad
the
feelings.
one thing that gives me an ick about the gym is fucking miserable people.
Miserable people.
Miserable and rude people in the
Okay,
gym.
that can really play
Like
on your
yeah, 'cause
emotion.
I think you've seen, you know what we're like in the gym, right? I'd like to think we're very friendly, and approachable, and yeah, and I love it when you get good energy from people off the gym, because obviously it becomes a bit of a community, right? But I think from different gyms, I think everyone's seeing it. You always get the odd person who's just absolutely miserable
Yeah.
for no reason, and not to, and you never know, that person may have stuff going on themselves. But I've had people that are actively rude to me in the gym
Oh, really?
for no reason. I think everybody has. You go through it, you always see people who are like that in the gym. But that's one thing that I think would give me the ick. But again, you can't take that too deeply as well, because obviously at the same time you don't know what people are going through. But then there are times when you think, mate, just you don't- I'm being polite to you here. You don't need to be rude to me, kind of thing. But at the same time, again, I don't take it personally. You just gotta brush it off. But that gives me a bit of the ick, I'd say.
Well, it's not really an ick, but that is more of something that you really don't like about the gym. I'd say like ick is more like you get
not
that
saying
like,
that. Obviously, I train
feeling.
at Fitness Factory, and everyone's
Yeah,
it's such a
everyone.
nice community gym.
You don't have that, or do you have that experience quite often, or it's
No,
just very
nah.
far and few?
Yeah.
Is that
It's
it
rare.
can ruin
It's
your
rare.
gym session?
No, I wouldn't even let it ruin my gym session. Like, again, it has to be in one or the other. But it's just not nice in the moment, because a gym can be an intimidating place for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't see why you shouldn't be friendly to everybody. But some people just use it as a chance to be macho and throw their weight around a little bit, which that gives me the ick a little bit. But it is what it is.
So what's your other way? What is like one of the best things about the gym?
Best things about the gym.
Yeah.
Best thing about going to the gym, you'd say?
Yeah. Because you've been going since how long? 16.
What,
You
for weight training?
You go to the gym whether your cardio is your football, isn't it? But you've been going to the gym. You usually go like 5 times, maybe 6 times
Obviously,
a week.
I started the boxing when I was.
So you must absolutely
10?
love it.
I love the outcome. I don't love that there's days where I don't want to go, or I'm too tired, or I'm exhausted from work. But again, it's about that. It's not about short-term gratification. It's about knowing what the benefits are going to be afterwards. So yeah, just keep it. It's just all about discipline and keeping yourself. It gives me routine and structure. That's the one thing. That's what I love about it, is the routine. This is the end of our first episode, so this is going to be a bit of a spin-off series of Below the Belt podcast, which you're actually the person who came up with the name of the podcast. So well done for that. I've got to give you credit there. But yeah, hopefully we'll do this as a monthly kind of spin-off series. Keep people up to date with our training, our arguments in the gym.
Yeah, that's really like
all things health and fitness, just to give you guys a bit of an insight into our training and how it's gone, because it's not always great. We go through our bad moments when it comes to health and fitness, right, which probably a lot of people don't see, and I think they'd be interested to see. But thank you for watching if you've made it this far. Also, a big shout out to GymPro Apparel, as you can see with the cap in the middle, who we're in partnership with for this podcast. Got some great gym wear for athletes on their website. So please check them out. Check out their Instagram page. They're blowing up in the health and fitness world. So yeah, but thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.